One of the biggest changes to the F-1 student visa system in decades has now been finalized. For years, most international students entering the United States were admitted for what is called duration of status, or D/S. Instead of receiving one specific expiration date, students were generally permitted to remain in the United States as long as they continued maintaining their student status. Under this new final rule, that system is dead. That system is ending. F-1 students, J-1 exchange visitors, and foreign media representatives in I status will now generally be admitted until a specific date. If they need more time to complete their studies, continue a program, participate in OPT, or remain in the United States for another authorized purpose, they may need to file a separate extension application with USCIS. The rule also creates major restrictions involving school transfers, changes of major, graduate students' second degrees, OPT, grace periods, and language programs. So, let's go through what changed, who will be affected, and what international students need to start doing differently, starting very soon. Hi, if you don't know already, I'm Andrea Shev, and I'm a U.S. immigration attorney with more than 20 plus years of experience helping people navigate the U.S. immigration system. Now, before we begin this topic, the rule is currently scheduled to take effect September 15th, 2026. However, Department of Homeland Security states that it is a major rule subject to congressional review. If the effective date changes or the rule is terminated, Department of Homeland Security is supposed to publish another notice. So be aware of that. Therefore, everything I am explaining is based on the final rule as it exists on the date I'm recording this video. Anyone affected should continue watching for updated guidance from DHS, USCIS, CBP, or SEVP. Make sure to continue to watch this. Let's begin with the most important change, the termination of duration of status. Currently, many F-1 and J visa holders have letters D/S listed on their Form I-94. D/S means duration of status. It does not provide one fixed expiration date. Instead, the person is generally permitted to remain in the United States while properly participating in the authorized program and complying with the requirements of that immigration status. The new rule replaces the D/S with a fixed emission date, a date in your I-94. This is extremely important because your visa stamp and your authorized period of stay are not the same thing. Your visa generally shows or allows you to request admission to the United States. Your I-94 tells you how long CBP has actually authorized you to remain in the country. If you do not know how to find your I-94, I'll put a link below this video of a video I explained to you how it works, okay? Under the new system, students must pay very close attention to the admit until date on their I-94, okay? So you need to know where to find your I-94. For an F-1 student entering after the rule takes effect, the admission period will generally be the length of the program listed on the I-20, but it cannot exceed 4 years. The student will usually be admitted for the program length or 4 years, whichever is shorter. For example, a student entering for a 5-year doctoral program may initially be admitted for no more than 4 years. If that student needs to remain for the final year, the student may need to apply for an extension of stay or leave and seek new admission into the United States. The 4-year maximum also applies, remember, to many J-1 exchange visitors, although the authorized period will depend on the applicable exchange program itself. Okay? Foreign media representatives in I status will generally be admitted for the length of their authorized activities, but no longer than 240 days at a time. Certain I visa holders using passports issued by mainland China are subject to even a shorter period of time. Now, what happens to students and exchange visitors who are already in the United States under duration of status when the rule takes effect in September? If you're already here, you do not automatically become out of status on September 15th, okay? The rule includes transition provisions for F and J non-immigrants who are properly maintaining status on the effective date and who were originally admitted for duration of status. Those individuals will generally be permitted to remain until the later of the expiration on an unemployment authorization card or the program end date on the Form I-20 or DS 2019. However, the transition period generally cannot exceed beyond 4 years from September 15, 2026. So an existing student should not assume I was admitted for duration of status, so this new rule has nothing to do with me. Okay, that's wrong. The rule may not immediately shorten the student's program, but it establishes a final outside limit and may require an extension if the student needs additional time or plans to apply for OPT, STEM OPT, or another eligible program. All right, let's now discuss the extension of stay process, okay, the extension of status process. Under the new rule, having a school official issue you a new I-20 with a later program end date may not be enough by itself. The designated school official may recommend the additional time, but USCIS will decide whether the student is permitted to extend the immigration stay longer than what was on the original I-20. The student will generally need to file the required USCIS extension application, which is currently Form I-539, pay the required fee, submit an updated I-20, show sufficient financial support, and possibly complete biometrics. The application must be timely filed before the student's authorized stay expires. Okay, it's super important. A student who timely files an extension may generally continue pursuing a full course of study while the application is pending. So if you file on time before your current stay expires, you'll be fine to continue studying while the application is pending. However, employment can become more complicated. All right. A student who waits until the period after the program or admission period has ended to file may be permitted to continue studying, but may not be permitted to continue or begin employment while waiting for a decision. Okay? That could affect on-campus employment, CPT, and other employment that would otherwise have been authorized under the old system that we had. All right, the practical message is simple. Do not wait until the last minute. To qualify for an extension, an F-1 student must have maintained lawful status, be pursuing a full course of study, and have a properly issued I-20 showing that more time is needed. The rule recognizes several possible reasons for an extension. These can include compelling academic reasons, such as a change in research topic, an unexpected change in faculty advisor, research funding delays, or other academic circumstances outside the student's control. A compelling medical reason may also qualify if it is supported by appropriate medical documentation provided by the student. The rule also recognizes events such as a natural disaster, national health emergency, or school closures. Okay, so they're taking that into consideration too in this final rule. However, Department of Homeland Security states that academic probation, academic suspension, or a student's repeated inability or unwillingness to complete the program will generally not be an acceptable reason. Students should maintain records showing not only that they are enrolled, but why the additional time became necessary. Okay, now let's discuss OPT and STEM OPT, because that's a topic that many of you need to understand. Under the new fixed admission system, a student seeking post-completion OPT will generally need to apply for employment authorization and an extension of stay. That can mean filing both the I-765 for the employment authorization and required extension application, the 539, unless the student leaves and obtains a new admission into the United States. The same general requirement applies to STEM OPT extensions. The rule includes temporary transition relief. Certain students who file for post-completion OPT or STEM OPT on or before March 18, 2027 may not be required to file a separate extension application for that period. However, students must carefully determine whether they qualify for that transition relief, particularly if they travel and return under the new fixed admission system. The rule also shortens the regular F-1 departure period from 60 days to 30 days for students admitted under this new system. Students will therefore have less time after completing a program or authorized practical training to transfer into another permitted program, or take another action to maintain lawful status. It will no longer be 60 days, it will only be 30 days. Another major part of the rule involves school transfers and changes of educational objectives. An F-1 student will generally be required to complete the first academic year, the first full year at the school that issued the original I-20 before transferring schools or changing the educational objective. An educational objective can include the student's major or degree level. SZEWMATE may authorize an exception for extenuating circumstances, such as a school closure, a natural disaster, or another qualifying situation. The rules are even stricter for graduate students. An F-1 student at the graduate level or above may not change educational objectives during the program. A graduate student also may not transfer to another school during the program unless SZEWMATE approves an exception based on extenuating circumstances. Now, that could have a major effect on master's and doctoral students who lose a faculty advisor, experience problems with their university, or receive a better opportunity elsewhere. Those students may no longer be able to transfer as easily as they have in the past. The rule also limits the ability to complete multiple programs at the same or at a lower educational level. If a student completes an F-1 program in the United States after the rule's effective date, the student may generally begin another F-1 program only at a higher educational level. For example, someone who completes a bachelor's degree could proceed to a master's degree, and someone who completes a master's degree could proceed to a doctoral program. But a student who completes one master's degree generally cannot or could not remain in F-1 status to begin another master's degree. A student who completed a doctoral degree generally could not move down to now do a master's or a bachelor's degree. Okay? The rule also limits F-1 language training students to an aggregate maximum of 24 months, including breaks and annual vacations. Okay? It's a lot of changes. So what should students do now? What should you do out there if you are a student? First, check your Form I-94. If you don't know how to find it, look below the video for the link. After every single entry into the United States, you have to check it. Do not assume that the expiration date on your visa, I-20, DS2 2019, or employment authorization document controls your authorized stay. Second, create calendar reminders well before your I-94 expiration date. Do not wait until the final weeks to begin discussing an extension. Third, speak with your designated official right away before transferring schools, changing majors, changing degree levels, extending a program, applying for OPT, or traveling while an application is pending. Fourth, be extremely careful with international travel. Travel while an extension application is pending may create complications or cause the application to be treated as abandoned in certain circumstances. Finally, keep detailed academic medical records, financial and program records. When USCIS is deciding whether you qualify for an additional time, documentation may become extremely important. This rule is not a reason for every international student to now panic, but it is a reason to stop thinking that F-1 status will continue automatically simply because a school keeps a SZEWMATE record active. Under this new system, your I-94 expiration date, extension filing, academic process, and timing may matter more than it ever has before. And remember, the scheduled effective date is still subject to congressional review. Continue checking for new announcements before relying on any specific implementation date. I will keep you posted here, so keep checking back. If this rule may affect your studies, OPT, STEM OPT, school transfer, extension, or international travel, click the link below and set up a time with me so we can look at your circumstances and determine clearly the best way to protect your status. And make sure you subscribe, because I will continue updating you as DHS, USCIS, CBP, everyone releases additional guidance about how this rule will be implemented. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in the world, and look forward to seeing you in my next video.